Shalom, shalom, Shabbat shalom. It's Brother Natazab coming at you again with another Shabbat class. We're going to go ahead and continue our Torah series. We are up into, I believe, Genesis 15. Genesis 15, or Slakia. Genesis 12 through 15. That's what we're going to get into today. Get into those chapters. Let me pull some stuff up on my screen. Brother Azariah Shalom. Let's see. 12. All right, go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to put the scriptures on here. We're going to go ahead and jump into it and get ready. Just waiting for some people, but I'm going to go ahead and get it started. They can join whenever they're ready. Share my screen really quick. So, Exodus 12. Now we're getting into the Passover, and this is very timely. Very timely, because Passover is right around the corner for a lot of us, some, on different dates and whatnot, but, we're not going to get into that. But nonetheless, we do have Passover coming, and nonetheless, this is where our story starts off, or where our Shabbat class takes off today, I should say. With that being said, we'll go ahead and get into it with the reading here. Brother Azariah, is there anything you want to bring out before we get started? Come, we'll go ahead and get started. All praises. This is Exodus 12 and 1. It says, "And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months, and it shall be the first months of the year unto you." So, like I said, Passover is right around the corner. So that would also mean the Hebrew New Year is right around the corner as well. It says, which reminds me, we got to get we got to want to do our calendar. Let's see, verse 3. It says, "Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of the month, ye shall take them every man a lamb according to his house of their fathers, and according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for a house." It says, "And in a house, if a household, if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next to his household take hold according to the number of his souls, according to every man shall you make the count for the lamb." So if you can't afford the lamb, then you and your neighbor can go half, and then y'all can split a lamb or whatever. But the point is to have a lamb to roast for the Passover. And this is actually Salakia. We're supposed to start off on chapter 13, because this is where we left off last time. Because this sounds very, very familiar. So Salakia, I do apologize about that. Let me start off on Exodus 13. And we're going to go through to 17 instead of 15. So that's my bad. There we go. All right. So this is Exodus chapter 13, verse 1. But that is true what I said about Passover. That is right around the corner. So, maybe the Most High just wanted to reiterate that. We do need to get ready for that. But all praises. Chapter 13, verse 1. It says, "And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Sanctify unto me all the firstborn, whatsoever openeth the womb among the children of Israel, both of man and of beast, is mine." So every firstborn male is very special. It says, "And Moses said unto the people, Remember this day which ye came out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, by strength of the hand of the Lord, that brought you out from this place. thee shall no leavened bread be eaten, because this day came yet out in the month of Abib. So this is that first month that we just read about in the previous chapter. As in it shall be when the Lord shall bring thee into the land of the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Amorites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, which he sware unto your fathers to give thee in a land flowing with milk and honey, thou shalt keep this service in this month. It says 7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread. It says in the seventh day ye shall be a feast. So the last day is supposed to be a holy convocation. Is way the first day and the last day. It said unleavened bread shall be eaten 7 days. It says there shall be no unleavened bread be seen with thee, neither shall there be leaven. Sorry, there should be no leavened bread be seen with thee, neither shall thou be leaven seen within all thy quarters. So that's why, if y'all remember on that last class, I said if you can't afford to throw things away, then go ahead, put them in a box and put them in your trunk. Usually the things that have leaven in them are usually non-perishables, and you got to just look and make sure if it has yeast in it. So go ahead and put those things in a box, put them in your car for the week, for the time being or whatever, and then you can bring them in when the time's over, because as the scripture says, you're not supposed to have yeast in your living quarters, as it says in the last class that we went over, and it says right here in all of thy quarters. So you're supposed to get that out of your, and as we spoke last class as well, that's more this is literal, but we're gonna also shoot for that spiritual aspect of removing that leaven, because that's what it's really about through the spirit of Hamashiach Yahushua. So verse 8, it says, and thou shalt show thy son in thy day, saying that this done because of which the Lord did unto me when I came forth out of Egypt. It says, and it shall be for a sign unto thee upon thy hand, and for a memorial between thine eyes. It says, so it's going to be something that you constantly do and something that you always remember. That's what that's getting at. It says, and the Lord's law may be in thy mouth, for with a strong hand hath the Lord brought thee out of Egypt. It says, thou shalt therefore keep his ordinances in his season from year to year. It says, and it shall be when the Lord shall bring thee into the land of the Canaanites, as he sware unto thee and into thy fathers, and shall give it to thee, thou shalt set apart unto the Lord all that open thy matrix. And that's another word for the womb. It says, in every firstling that cometh of the beast which thou hast, the males shall be of the Lord's. So that's what I was getting at earlier. The firstborn males are special. It says, every firstling of the ass thou shalt redeem with a lamb. It says, and if thou wilt not redeem it, thou shalt break his neck, and all the firstborns of the man's young children shalt thou redeem. And it shall be when thy son asks thee in the time to come, saying, what is this? Thou shalt say unto him, by strength of the hand of the Lord brought us from Egypt, from the house of bondage. And it came to pass when Pharaoh would hardly let us go, what the Pharaoh would hardly let us go, that the Lord slew all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, the firstborn of the man, and the firstborn of the beast. Therefore I sacrifice unto the Lord all that openeth the matrix, being males, but all the firstborn of my children I redeem. It says, and it shall be for a token upon thy hand, and for thy frontlets between thine eyes, for by strength of the hand the Lord brought us from out of Egypt. And Salakia, because I was thinking about something. When you get to Deuteronomy, there's like we're not gonna go there because that's getting off topic. Salakia, somebody coming in the class here. Shalom up.
Shalom.
Okay, so all right. And this is going to be Deuteronomy chapter 13, verse 17. It says, and it came to pass when Pharaoh had let the people go, that God led them through the way out of the land of the Philistines. It says, It says, although that war was near, God said, lest peradventure the people repent, that they will see war and return to Egypt. It says, but God led the people about through the way of the wilderness of the Red Sea, and the children of Israel went up hardness out of the land of Egypt. And Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, for he had sterilely sworn the children of Israel, saying, God will surely visit you, and ye shall carry up my bones away from hence with you. And he took journey from and they took their journey from sackcloth and encamped in Etham, and in the edge of the wilderness. And the Lord went before them in the day in the pillar of the cloud, and led them by the way, and by night by a pillar of fire to give them light, to go day by day, to go by day and by night. And he took not away the pillar of the cloud by day, nor the pillar of fire by night from before the people. Now, if y'all seen my top 5 worst doctrines, we get into getting beamed up, and this is one of the key scriptures I go to show, because brothers love to believe that that we're getting beamed up, but it says nothing new is under the sun. As it was is going to be. So just like our ancestors were led by chariots, we will be led by chariots. It doesn't say that they were beamed up. That's pretty clear right here. So we're going to go ahead and go on to that next chapter. Just want to throw that out there. Reading comprehension is very key. We got to read everything in its totality and teach it in its totality, and not pick things apart, because when you do that, it just sounds wild when you try to put everything together there. But moving on, I digress. It says, this is Exodus chapter 14 and verse 1. It says, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel that they turn in and encamp before I don't know that dude's name, between Melgdal and the sea, over against Balzaphon. It says, before it shall encamp by the sea. For Pharaoh will say unto the children of Israel, they are entangled in the land, and the wilderness has shut them in. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, that he shall follow after them. And I will be honored upon Pharaoh, and and upon all his host, and the Egyptians may know that I am the Lord. And they did so. So the Most High is gotten his people up out of there now. But now he wants to prove not only to his people, which he has done, now he wants to prove to the Egyptians that, yes, I am the one true God. You know what I mean? Everything that was said for and about my people is true. So the Most High is going to go ahead and get it back in blood, as they say. And this is the whole representation of Passover. Not only as we read the actual Passover, as the death angel swept over the land and killed all the firstborn, as we just reiterated last chapter as well, but this part as well, as he, like he said, hardened up Pharaoh's heart so he would chase after the children of Israel. And as we all famously know, what happened to the Pharaoh in the Red Sea. So let's go ahead and get to it. It says, and it was told to the king of Egypt that the people fled, in the heart of Pharaoh and of his servants was turned against the people, and that they said that they were done. Why have they done this? Why have they let Israel go from serving us? It's like it. So they wanted their servants back because they was living good. It's like you're prospering off of Israel's hard labor. Just like today, no different than it's like no different than the countries today that are enslaving the Israelites. All right, where we leave at? Okay, verse 6. It says, and he made ready his chariots and took his people with him. And he took hold 600 chosen chariots, all the chariots of Egypt, and the captains over and the captains over one of them. It says, and the Lord hardened a heart of Pharaoh and the king of Egypt, and pursued after the children of Israel. And the children of Israel went out with a high hand. It says, but the Egyptians pursued after them, and all the horses and the chariots of Pharaoh and the horsemen and his army, and overtook the encampment by sea, besides uh, Pilthathra and before Basra. It says, and when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes and beheld the Egyptians marched after them, that they were sore afraid. And the children, the children of Israel cried out to Yahweh, and they said unto Marsha, says, because there were no graves in Egypt, thou hast taken us away to die in the wilderness. Yo, Israel's crazy. Yo, let's read this again. It says, and Pharaoh drew nigh, and the children of Israel lifted up their eyes and beheld. The Egyptians marched after them, and they were sore afraid. And the children of Israel cried unto the Lord. He says, and they said unto Moses, he says, because there were no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness? He says, therefore, thou hast dealt with us to carry us out from Egypt. So there was like, basically, did you just bring us out here because there's not enough graves in Egypt and we had to die in the wilderness? Israel is so spoiled. We are a spoiled and rotten nation. Not rotten, but like, when you spoil a kid rotten, like, what I mean? That's what we are, man. And it's the Most High loves us nonetheless. All praises for that. But you can just see that this is the real intent. And I laugh because this is the same spirit of Israel right now. People don't want to admit it, and they think we're so much better, and we're so, oh yeah, we about to get the kingdom and da 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 da. Read, this is what our ancestors went through right when their calamity hit, and the Most High saved them from their destruction and whatnot. This is what they went through. There was still a purging out process. So to think that we don't have to go through that is kind of wild. There's nothing new under the sun, right? So we always like to go back to that. So we got to keep that in mind. When as it was, so shall it be. So moving on. So all right, yeah, but that was just funny to me. That just lets you know the spirit of Israel. So Exodus 14:2, it says, "Is not the word that it says." Is not this the word that we did tell the Egyptians, saying, let us alone that we may serve the Egyptians, for it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than we should die in the wilderness. So there they go. As Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, and stand still and see salvation of the Lord, which he has shown you to the to Slakia showed you to the day, the Egyptians whom you have seen today, you shall see them again no more forever. So he's like, you about to get them out of there. Don't even trip. Like y'all don't know. But that lets you know that the children of Israel, going back all the way to Exodus 3, they didn't know the Most High by the same works or the same faith or the same anything like our forefathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They if they were put in a situation, they wouldn't have fret. They would have just known that I don't know how, but I know the Most High is going to work this out. Even Moses, I know the Most High is going to work this out some way, shape, form, or fashion. But when it comes down to the children of Israel, you see that faith in that strong spiritual bond starting to wane just a little bit. But I'm not, this not to knock Israel. We are fresh out of captivity. You see what I'm saying? Just like today, we are still in our captivity. So it's like, it's hard to judge Israel on that alone, because the wounds are still fresh. So, you still got to love our people and deal with them gently. So let's moving forward here. Let's see. It says, and the Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. He shall hold your peace. And the Lord said unto Moses, wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Israel that they go forward. But lift up thy rod, and thou stretch out thy hand over the sea and divide it, and the children of Israel shall go on the dry ground through the midst of the sea. And I beheld, and I hardened the hearts of the Egyptians that they shall follow them, and I will get and I will give me honor upon Pharaoh and upon all his hosts and upon his chariots and upon his horsemen, and the Egyptians shall know that I am Lord. When I have gotten me honor upon Pharaoh and upon his chariots and upon his horsemen, and the angel of and the angel of God which went before the camp of Israel removed and went behind them, and the pillar of the cloud went from before the face of went from before their face and stood behind them. So there you go again. Once again, we were not beamed up. The chariot just went from the front to the back. No one was beamed up, but yet the chariot is playing a pivotal role in our salvation. Moving forward, it says, and it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel, and a cloud of darkness to them, and it gave the light by night to these, so that it came not to near all the other Slakia, so that one came not near the other all the night. So there's like a barrier between the two camps. So, like I said, it's playing a pivotal role in as far as our salvation, but we don't see anyone getting actually beamed up. Let's say, and Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and then the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all the night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon the dry ground, and the waters were were a wall unto them on their right and on their left hand. So just like you see in the movies, you see these like big walls of water. One part. Some books out there say that there was 12 parts divided into the sea. As we can see in the scriptures, there was one part, and they walked down it. I'm gonna leave that at that. It says, and the Egyptians pursued and went in after them in the midst of the sea, even all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. So just like the Most High said, it says, and it came to pass, and in the morning, which the Lord looked upon the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of the fire of the cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians. So let's read that again. Because once again, I like to go over these. It says, and it came to pass that in the morning, watched the Lord looked up unto the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of the cloud, through the pillar of the fire of the cloud, and then troubled the host of the Egyptians, and took off their chariots' wheels, and drave them heavily. And the Egyptians said, let us flee from the face of Israel, for the Lord fighteth for them against the Egyptians. So I'm going to show you what's the power of some chariots. That's basically what the Most High was getting on them. It says, and the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thy hand over the sea, and that the waters may come again unto the Egyptians, and unto their chariots, and unto the horsemen. And Moses stretched forth the hand over the sea, and the sea returned to his strength. And when the morning appeared, the Egyptians fled against it, and the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. And the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all the host of Pharaoh, and they came into the sea after them, and he remained not so much as one of them. But all the children of Israel walked upon dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right and on their left side, on their right hand and on their left. It is thus the Lord saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dead upon the seashore. And Israel saw a great work which the Lord did upon the Egyptians. And the people feared the Lord and believed the Lord and his servant Moses. So it took all that to give for them to give their utter dying faith to the Most High. And like I said, unlike our forefathers who did it out of pure faith, who would have, with like instances like sacrifice their own son and things like that. Israel's just a different a different animal. You gotta love Israel though. It's Exodus chapter 15 and 1. It says, then say, now this is actually the first, it says the song of Moses in Israel, but this is actually the first song. This is the first song. This whole chapter right here is actually a song. That's the first song recorded in Israel. So we're gonna go ahead and get into that and check out some of these lyrics, see what's going on. I wonder what tune they was. You know, what I mean, that'd be nice to get some type of info on that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into that. It says, then sang Moses the children of Israel this song unto the Lord, and spake, saying, I will sing unto thee, I will sing unto the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. It says, the horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea. So they getting into it. It says, and the Lord is my strength and song, and he has become my salvation. He is my God, and I will prepare him an habitation, my father's God, and I will exalt him. It says, the Lord is a man of war, and the Lord is his name. So that would say, it says, Yahweh is a man of Lord, and is a man of war, and Yahweh is his name. It says, Pharaoh's chariots and his host has he cast into the sea, as chosen captains also are drowned in the Red Sea. It says the depths are covered them. It says, and they sank into the bottom of the bottom as a stone. The right hand, O Lord, has become glorious in power. Thy right hand, O Lord, has dashed in the pieces the enemies. And in greatness of thine excellency, thou hast overthrown them and rose up against thee. Thou sendst forth thy wrath, which consumed them as stubble, and which has and with the blast of thy nostrils, the the waters were gathered together, and the flood stood up as a heap, and the depths were were congealed in the heart of the sea. The enemy has said, I will pursue, I will overtake, I will divide the spoil, and my lust will be satisfied upon them. I will draw my sword, and my hand shall destroy them. Thou thou didst blow thy wind, and the sea covered them. Thy sank as a lead in the mighty waters. Who is like thee, O Lord, among the gods? Who is like thee, O glorious and holy, fearful in praise, doing wonders? It says, thee stretches out thy hand, the earth swallowed them. It says, thou in thy mercy hast led forth thy people, which thou hast redeemed, and thou hast guided them in thy strength, in thy holy habitation. The Lord shall hear and and the people shall hear and be afraid. Uh, Sorrow shall take hold in the habitations of uh, Palestine, Palestine, Palestina, but we know that's Palestine. It says, then the dukes of Edom shall be amazed, the mighty men of Moab trembling shall take hold upon them, and the inhabitants of Canaan shall melt away. It says, fear and dread shall fall upon them, my greatness of thine arm, and it shall be as still as stone, till thy people pass over. O Lord, till thy people pass over, which thou hast purchased. And that purchase is pretty. Let me see. Let's see what that goes into. Pretty sure that's redeemed. People which thou hast purchased. Let's see. It says to get, acquire, create by possessing. To get, acquire, God originated creating, possess to Eve, acquiring, acquire, buy. Okay, yeah. So that's what we thought. I just wanted to look into that really quick, Slack you. All right. hast purchased. He says, thou shalt bring them in and plant them in the mountains of thy inheritance, in the place, O Lord, which thou hast made for thee to dwell in the sanctuary, O Lord, which with thy hands have established. Thou shalt reign forever and ever. For the horses of Pharaoh went in with his chariots and with his horsemen in the sea, and the Lord brought against the waters of the sea upon them. But the children of Israel went on dry land in the midst of the sea. And Miriam, the prophetess, and the sister of Aaron, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out with timbrels and with dances. It says that Miriam answered them, "Sing ye, O Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horses and his riders he had thrown down unto the sea." So Moses brought up Israel from the Red Sea, and they went into the wilderness of Shur. It says, and they went 3 days in the wilderness and found no water. And they came to Mara. It says, and they could not drink the water of Mara, for they were bitter. Therefore, the name of it was called Mara. It says, and the people murmured against Moses, saying, what shall we drink? And he cried unto the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree which he had cast into the waters, and the waters were made sweet. There he made for them a statute and an ordinance, and there he proved them. So, like I said earlier, there's a purging out process as they slowly go along this journey through the wilderness. As we make it to the promised land, there's going to be a purging out process of eventually this whole generation. But you know what I mean, it was going to be for those who to see who would make it and who wouldn't make it. So eventually ended up being a whole generation. So, but let's see. It says, for said it says, and said, if thou wilt diligently hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, and will do which that is right in the sight, what was right in his sight, and will give an ear to his commandments, and will keep all his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought unto the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee. It says, and they came to Elim. It says, where there were 12 wells of water, and 70 palm trees, and they encamped there by the waters. So the Most High gave them refuge, gave them a little oasis, so to speak, so they can have somewhere to chill out. Most High being merciful, man. That's what that is. That's what I see. Most High being merciful since the beginning. People say the Old Testament is all doom and gloom. There's a lot of mercy and a lot of love and a lot of grace in the Old Testament. That's where it originated from. You gotta know what you're looking for. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and knock out this last chapter. It's Book of Exodus, chapter 16, verse 1. It says, and they took their journey from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came into the wilderness of Sin. It says, which was between Elim and Sinai, and which was the 15th day of the second month after their departing out of the land of Egypt. It says, and the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. It says, and the children of Israel saith unto them, would to God had would we die by the hand of the Lord in the land of the Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots, and we did eat bread to the full, for ye have brought us forth into the wilderness to kill us by the whole assembly with hunger. So remember, just before when I was laughing earlier, let's let you know the spirit of Israel. That's why I was laughing, because I already knew this was coming. And that the one before we read, I didn't know that one was in there, but I knew this one was in there. So it's just letting you know they haven't learned anything really, to be honest. So we go forward, verse 4. It says, this saith the Lord unto Moses, behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and for the people shall go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them whether they will walk in my law or no. So like I said, just like the last one, he said he's going to prove him. He's going to prove with that work that he did. He's going to prove him again with this one. So it's a constant test that Israel's going through, and we're going to see whether they pass these tests or not. It says, and it shall come to pass that on the sixth day they shall prepare that which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily. What does that mean? That means because of how the law is set up, you're not supposed to work on the Shabbat. So on the sixth day, you're supposed to gather twice amount of food or make twice amount of food. Like I usually try to do. I try to make two meals, either Friday in the day before the evening, or Thursday night going into Friday. You make two meals, one for Friday and one for Saturday. That way you don't have to cook on the Shabbat. So that's basically the understanding on that, and this is where this is coming from. So that lets you know. It says, and Moses and Aaron said unto the children of Israel, at even ye shall know that the Lord hath brought ye out of the land of Egypt. It says, and in the morning ye shall see the glory of the Lord, for he hath heardeth your murmurings against the Lord. It says that ye are and what are we that ye murmur against us? It said, and Moses said, this shall be when the Lord shall give you an everlasting flesh or evening, or when he give you in the oh this is okay. Slack, I was thinking about something because a lot of people say the Most High didn't want us to eat flesh, so this cuts that all day. But we're not going to get into that. It says, and Moses said, this this shall be when the Lord shall give you in the evening flesh to eat. It says, and in the morning bread to the full, for that the Lord heareth your murmurings, which ye murmur against him. That and what are we that your murmurings are not against us but against the Lord? That's tough. That's tough to deal with. It's like, yo, y'all gonna basically talk messy about the Most High or challenge the Most High, but you know what I mean, and like kind of bypass. I can see if y'all's talking mess about us, but not, you know what I mean, like y'all going straight to the source. That's kind of tough right there. It says that Moses spake to Aaron, say unto the congregation of the children of Israel, come near before the Lord, for ye have heard your murmurings. As then it came to pass as Aaron spake unto the whole congregation of the children of Israel, that they looked toward the wilderness, and behold, the glory of the Lord appeared in the cloud. It says, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel, saying unto them, saying, at even ye shall eat flesh, and in the morning ye shall be filled with bread, and ye shall know that I am the Lord your God, or I am Yahweh thy power. And it came to pass that in the evening quails came, it says, and covered the camp, that in the morning and dew lay around about the host. So when you get up really, really early in the morning, you see that condensation that's on the grass. So you see that, and that's let you know around what time it was. But that lets you know when they woke up, they saw quails so much to where they could just, enough to where they can, like I said, they covered the camp. So there was enough to grab them, get what they need and, get full. It says when the dew that lay that was done, slacking. It says, and when the dew that lay was gone up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness there lay a small round thing, as small as a hoar frost on the ground. It says, and when the children of Israel saw it, they said to one, it is a it is manna. It says, for they wist not that it was. And Moses said unto them, this is the bread which the Lord hath given you to eat. As this is the thing that the Lord hath commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating, and Omar for every man according to the number for his persons, and take every man for them which are in his tents. It says, and the children of Israel did so, gathering some and some more and some less. So depending on the household, that's how much you gather, so everyone can get enough and be full. It says, and when they did meet with the Omar and gathered much, had nothing over. So nobody had too much. It says, and when they gathered, the little had no lacking. No one had no one was lacking, no one had too much, so it was just amount. It was just the right amount. It said they gathered every man according to his eating. It says, and Moses said, "Let no man leave it until the morning." So you gotta eat it all. So it's just enough, and you gotta, can't be trying to save it and stuff like that, unless we're dealing with that last day where you gather the twice, which is the eve of the Shabbat. It says, and they gathered it every morning, and every man according to his eating. And when the sun waxed hot, it melted. So you wouldn't even be able to save it for the next day because the sun would just melt it. So it says, and it came to pass. Hold on, Slakia. Shalom, what?
Shalom.
Says, and it came to pass, and in the sixth day they gathered twice as much as bread, just like the Most High instructed Moses, and Moses told them, because remember we just read that the sun was melting the manna. So it says, so they gathered on the sixth day, the eve of the Shabbat, twice as much bread, 2 omers for one man, and all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses, and he said unto them, "This is that which the Lord has said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Shabbat unto the Lord." It says, "Bake that which ye will bake today, and seethe that ye will seethe." I think seethe means boil, right? I think. Hold on, let's check that out. Do you know that out?
As far as I know, I think it means the boil, but the double check.
Yeah, because it's never bad to double check because there's a lot of stuff that people getting taught out. Yeah, there you go. To boil, cook, bake, roast, ripen, grow, ripe. To boil, boil. You see, boil is like the main use for it. As you can see here, to ripen, to be boiled, sodden. Yeah, but sodden is boiled, the same thing. Yep. Okay. So yeah, I just want to be sure on that. So yeah, so anything you're gonna fry, bake, boil, anything like that has to be done the day before. Let's see. Get out of here. All right. So where we leave off, it melted. What verse was that? Seethe right here. Okay. Um. So it says, "Bake what you will bake, bake that which you will bake today, and see what you will see." It says, "And that which you remaineth over, lay up for you to keep until the morning." So on this day, you're allowed to keep stuff. It says, "And they were laid up until the morning as Moses bade." It says, "And it did not stink, neither was there any worms therein." As Moses said, "Eat that today, for today is the Sabbath unto Yahweh. Today ye shall not find it. You shall not find it in the field." So even if you were to go out, say you ate all yours, you just like, "Oh man, I got hungry late last night. Had to jump up, get a little snack. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna go out on the Shabbat and get another little helping of this meal. It's not gonna be there. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like you gotta pace yourself. So that's another thing that Shabbat teaches you, because you got to have patience, perseverance, and it's a lot of things that go into it. It's not just I mean not doing it's another level that goes into it. But I'm not going to get too far into that. But let's keep reading here. There's no more. Says, and when I find it says 6 days ye shall gather it. He says, but on the seventh day, which is the Shabbat, it says it is in it there shall be none. So pause right there. Now I've been kind of dibbling dabbling on different things, and I don't like to get too far off on tangents. That's what other videos and stuff are for. But let's touch on the Sabbath because this is a Sabbath video. This is a Shabbat class. You know what I mean? Let's just touch on that really quick. It says clear as day. I know brothers want to tell you this, that, and the third. They're going to jump to 89,000 verses to try to tell you that this is how you calculate the Sabbath and whatnot. And we'll do, oh, you don't need a pagan calendar. And that I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. You don't need a pagan calendar. You don't need a man-made calendar. You don't need man-made name days to calculate the Sabbath. Because look right here, look what they were doing. Did it say Monday? Did it say Sunday? Did it say Saturday? Did it say no? It just says 6 days. So even if we started, let's say on a just for argument's sake, we start on a Tuesday or we start on a Wednesday in the middle of the week per se, calendar wise speaking. But let's remember, we're throwing the calendar out because I know people get real sensitive with that. If you start in the middle of the week and you count 6 days, that seventh day is still the Sabbath, no matter when you start. So there's the whole using the calendar thing and why doesn't it say, and it doesn't give any instructions on a moon right here either. It just says 6 days. Slakia. Let me bring the brother in. Who is that? I thought I heard somebody come in the room. Anyway, but yeah, so we don't see the moon. We don't see anything out of, oh, it has to be Saturday or it has to be. No, it says 6 days and the seventh is the Shabbat. So this is how we calculate our Sabbath. So whenever the first day is, then the seventh day would be the Sabbath. So without going too much further into that, that's pretty much it on that. It says, and it came to pass that they went out, some of the people on the seventh day for to gather. So, and they found none. Like I said, some people probably ate all theirs last night and was hungry the next day and figured they was going to go out there and get some and was SOL. It says, and the Lord said unto Moses, how long you refuse to keep my commandments and my laws? It says, see, for that the Lord hath given you the Sabbath, therefore ye giveth you the 6th day of bread of 2 days. It says, abide ye every man in his place, let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. Now, this, I like to stick to this right here. Like it's not necessarily, I'm not saying it's a commandment to stay in the house on the Sabbath, but I like to stay in the house on the Sabbath. I don't like to do too much or go nowhere or do anything really on the Sabbath, to be honest. But that, and this is my justification for not leaving the house right here. So like, I'm not saying that it is a commandment, but this is, what I mean, hey, this is what I go to right here. I was like, this is what I use to justify. You're not supposed to be out and about running around and doing all that. Stay in the house. Stay in the house, enjoy the rest day, because if you just, it becomes another work. Even if you're not actually working, you're out running errands and things like that and whatever, it becomes just another work day. You know what I mean? It's not special unto the Lord. It's not a set apart day. It's not a rest day. So that's why I like to, use this right here as understanding of, try to stay in the house as much as possible when you can. It says, so the people rested on the 7th day. So they didn't go out of their house and they rested. So there you go. It says, in the house of Israel called the name of the of their manna. It says, and it was like a coriander seed, white, and the taste of it was like the wafers made with honey. And that's cold because this is written so long ago, and you can literally, like, we know what a coriander seed is. You know what I mean? We got the color, and then we got the texture, and then we got the taste. So it's giving you a wafer like honey coriander type of, I mean? That's I like that because, I mean, that's something you can kind of put in your mind and visualize, and even, wafer with the honey, you can taste it like, man, that was probably really, really good. That's dope, man. I just wanted to point that out real quick. Verse 32, it says, and Moses said, this is the thing which the Lord hath commanded. Fill an omer of it to be kept for your generations, that you may see that the bread wherein I have fed you in the wilderness when I brought you forth out from the land of Egypt. And Moses said unto Aaron, take a pot and put in Omar full of manna therein, and lay it upon before Yahweh to be kept for for your generations, as the Lord commanded Moses. And Aaron laid it upon before the testimony to be kept. And the children of Israel did eat manna 40 years. It says until they came into the land inhabited. They did eat manna until they came unto the borders of the land of Canaan. Now Omar was a tenth part of the of an ephah. Let's see. One more chapter. Oh boy. Oh, my man Marsha. God dog. All right, let's get into it. It says, and all the congregation of the children of Israel journeyed from the wilderness of sin. It says, after the journey, according to the commandments of the Lord, and pitched in Raphaim. It says, and there was no water for the people to drink. So just like before, they should have. You would think they learned. Hey, we just went through this not too long ago. It might have been 40 years, but y'all are grown now. Y'all should be able to compartmentalize. Hey, when we were younger, we were just kids, or we at least heard the stories from our parents that hey, when we first began this journey, there was no water, and the Most High provided for us. I just want to throw that out there. That's it. Keep going. It says, wherefore the people did chide with Moses and say, give us water that we may drink. And Moses said unto them, why chide with me? It says, when wherefore do you tempt the Lord? It says, and the people thirsted there for water, and the people murmured against Moses and said, therefore therefore is this that thou hast brought us out of Egypt to kill us and our children and our cattle with thirst. It says, and Moses cried unto Yahweh, saying, what shall I do with this people? They must almost ready to stone me. So it must have got real bad. It says, and the Lord said unto Moses, go before the people and take with thee the elders of Israel and thy rod, wherewith thou smote the river, and make thy hand and go. Behold, I will stand before thee there upon the rock in Horeb, and and thou shalt smite the rock, and thou shalt smite the rock, and there shall come water out of it, and the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel. And he called the name of the place Massah, and Meribah, which because of the children of the Israel, because the chiding of the children of Israel, and because they tempted the Lord, saying, the Lord is the Lord among us or not. It says, then came Amalek and fought with Israel and Raphaim. It says, and Moses said unto Joshua, come us out men, and go fight with Amalek, for tomorrow I will stand at the top of the hill with the rod of the Lord and with my hand. So Joshua did as Moses said unto him, and fought with Amalek. And Moses and Aaron and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And it came to pass when Moses held up his hands that Israel prevailed, and when he held down his hands, Amalek prevailed. When he let down his hands, Amalek prevailed. But Moses' hands were heavy. It says, and they took a stone and put it under him that he sat thereon, and Aaron and Hur stayed up his hands, that they one on one side and one on the other side, and his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. And Joshua discomforted Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. It says, and the Lord said unto Moses, write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua. It says, "For I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under the heavens." It says, "And Moses built an altar and called the name of it Jehoshaphat." I don't know what that is. It says, for he said, Lord has sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation." And that's pretty much it on the reading for the Torah class. My man Marshall's gonna get himself into a hot pot of water, as they say. Gonna mess around and get into it, man. But that's pretty much it. We gonna got ourselves up into, what is that, Exodus 17. We're gonna go forward with that. As usually, gonna touch on the little things as we go through it. But appreciate everybody tuning in. Those who have, if you have questions or concerns, put them in the comments or chats. We'll deal with those accordingly. Other than that, brother, you have anything you want to bring out before we go ahead and get up out of here? Oh, bro's not even on it. Okay, never mind. All right, well, shalom, people. Shabbat shalom.